Welcome back, Earthlings. Thank you guys for waiting so patiently for this next video in the Myth of Genius series. This one will be part 2.1, and it will introduce the next few videos in which we'll examine specific people. So in this one, I'll just sort of give you guys an overview of what to expect in the next few videos and how best to sort of view them. Okay, so I hope to convey at least two things. So the first one is the correctness of the myth of genius, that there is no such thing as a genius in the traditional sense, that pretty much any genius that you can think of has gotten there through a process of mastering their craft and being dedicated and passionate about it. And that this belief is actually, the belief that the notion of genius as a myth is actually much more useful and productive. It's more beneficial for living a good life and becoming a master yourself. In other words, believing that some people are just born geniuses is a limiting belief, regardless of whether it is true or not. Showing that it's not is just my first goal. Because in theory, you can have an incorrect belief, but perhaps it's more beneficial to believe in a delusion. To be deluded. So I'm arguing that not only is it an incorrect belief that they're geniuses, but that changing this incorrect belief will tangibly help improve your life and make you feel empowered. Alright, so let's go to the next part. So let's take my theory and thoughts from the previous video out for a test drive and see how it fares in an analysis of some famous examples of so-called geniuses. Just like in math and physics and many other subjects, if your theory makes good predictions and is supported by evidence, then it's a better theory than one which clashes with the evidence, or rather a hypothesis. So let's see which works better. So we have two theories. We have the traditional notion of geniuses that are born with unusual natural abilities, and we have the hypothesis that it's based on mastery and it's nurtured. It's through environments, through personal struggles, all that kind of stuff. So in these next few videos, we're mainly going to be looking at evidence, examining specific people, and in the final video in this series, we'll look at some of the predictions that these would have and how they actually play out. All right. So also keep in mind, so this is a little bit of a disclaimer. My presentation won't be a strictly scientific analysis of which hypothesis is correct. So I love making these videos for you guys, but I also love making them for myself because I learn a bunch, so I'll be taking a more laid-back, sort of stream of consciousness approach, obviously mixed in with a tad of organization, but I just wanted to make that disclaimer in case there's some die-hard nature genius believers amongst you that are ready to pounce at the keyboard denouncing my unscientific presentation. I suspect not everyone will be convinced by my discussion, and that's fine. I'm only seeking to reach the open-minded folks that are looking to grow. I know there's some angry folks out there that are trying to work out their issues in the YouTube comments, and I love you guys too, but none of us are perfect. We do the best we can. So with that in mind, that I'll take a little more casual approach. Let's go over and see which people we'll be covering. Okay. So in the next few videos, I'll be examining a lot of different masters in various fields. Here they are for your reference. The ones that are underlined and in capital letters are the ones that I'm going to pay particular attention to. Maybe for many reasons. I think they're sort of, at least most of them are considered, the first few are considered Da Vinci, Bach, Mozart, Einstein are like your traditional geniuses, people that you would usually think of. And then the others, I just have a particular interest in dwelling on those. All right. So, and I've kind of broken it down just so you guys have a sense. We have art and science, athletics, and religion. So I'm just going to read them off. So we have Leonardo da Vinci, Bach, Mozart, Einstein, Bruce Lee, Jacques Fresco, Van Gogh, Shakespeare, Newton, Edison, Tesla, Beethoven, John Williams, Stevie Wonder, Nina Simone, Rachmaninoff, Terrence, Pavarotti, Darwin, Marie Curie, Fibonacci, Michael Jackson, Alexander the Great, J.K. Rowling, Galileo, Euler, Michael Faraday. Then in athletics, we have John Brzenk, Fedor Emelianenko, Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, the U.S.A. women's gymnastics team, Garry Kasparov, or Kasparov. Religion, we have Jesus, Buddha, Moses, Muhammad. So this is just some of the folks that I'll be mentioning. This is not a definitive list. So also you might be wondering, why did I put, let's say, Bruce Lee and Alexander the Great under art and science? Well, Bruce Lee is very much an artist, so he's a martial artist, but also he's a great thinker, and as an actor, so he has a lot of fantastic writing, so that's why I very much consider him an artist and a scientist in the sort of, in what he does, as is Alexander the Great in terms of military strategy and other things. All right. So here is the next part, which is, as we discuss these people, there are certain themes that you will notice emerging. Now, it's very easy to get lost in the details, so as we cover some of these people, I want you to pay attention to the larger things, which are that all had some diverse or unusual early environment and experiences, all had an intense passion, all were human. That is to say, they needed courage to deal with many obstacles, depression, finances, you name it. There's tons of these. And all had to develop or developed cleverness. And one of my, this encompasses many things, but this deals with smart work versus hard work. But for example, one thing is a lot of them faced obstacles, and they found a way to turn negatives into positives. So whatever people traditionally consider problems, they turn into opportunities. That may have been being orphans, that may have been financial issues, whatever it is. It may have been physical impairments. So we'll get to that in the actual details. All right. Also, all put in their 10,000 hours of smart, clever work. Obviously, you can put in 10,000 hours of meaningless work and not improve, but this has been shown to be kind of like a minimum number that helps create mastery. So they have had a lot of practice doing whatever they've done. All right. So those are kind of at least 6 of the themes that will be, or rather 5, I can't count, 5 of the themes. Okay, so a suggested exercise, I won't actually discuss all of these themes for each one of the people, so I'll leave that up to you guys. If you want to research an aspect about a person that I haven't covered, that would be a great exercise. So however, we'll see that all these themes come up several times as I go through the various masters. Another great exercise is to pick a master I haven't covered or haven't covered to your satisfaction and study him or her in depth. So basically, go more in depth on the people that I do cover and cover more breadth. So pick somebody else that you like that I haven't covered. Also, I will make some observations that affect more than one person at a time. So I recommend watching this series all the way through, even if you're particularly interested in only one of the people. So let's say you're just interested in Mozart, what I have to say about Mozart, it still might be beneficial to go through the series in order. All right, next, the incompleteness and bias in the video. So in an effort of this magnitude, where we're talking about geniuses throughout world history, it was impossible for me to mention what I really thought, like everybody that really ought to have been mentioned, so it's just a huge scope. So for example, you have Goethe, the German essayist, writer, philosopher, and conspicuously absent from my list are many non-Western cultured geniuses, such as those from China, India, the Middle East, Africa, you name it. So, for example, in many centuries ago, there was the great Muslim thinker, Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, and that name may not ring a bell, but I'm sure you know what is associated with him, which is algebra and algorithm. So the AL part very much stems from his stuff. So he has a book in which he talks about al-Jabr, which deals with the restoration and algebraic equations. So you're restoring, let's say you're trying to balance equations and restore things, and that's where we get algebra. So obviously, like a brilliant man, and if you were to do a complete list of geniuses and people worth covering, he would probably be on that list. But that said, that gets us into the next point. So perhaps one of you who is knowledgeable on one or more other geniuses you feel I've missed or didn't go in enough depth will pick up the torch and do additional videos on such people. So I would be very much happy to see that, and I apologize in advance for any shortcomings in my presentation. I hope even with the shortcomings, you find that these videos add value to your life and help you grow. So like, I really encourage you guys, please pick up where I left off and cover more people if this excites you. And next we're gonna begin our exploration with one of my heroes, Leonardo da Vinci.